I'm waiting on the will of heaven today. I gotta tune in to what the angels say. I listen for the good news coming my way. I'm waiting on the will of heaven today. I'm waiting on the will of heaven today. Do 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 walking in circles, feeding all the birds, climbing up a mountain, looking around, yeah, yeah, smelling all the flowers, staring at the moon. I listen to the waves come crashing down, down, whoa, whoa. I'm waiting on the will of heaven today. I gotta tune in to what the angels say. I listen for the good news coming my way. I'm waiting on the will of heaven today. I'm waiting on the will of heaven today. Smelling all the flowers, staring at the moon. Listen to the waves come crashing down, down. Walking in circles, feeding all the birds, climbing up a mountain, looking around, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm waiting on the will of heaven today. I gotta tune in to what the angels say. I'm waiting on the good news coming my way. I'm waiting on the will of heaven today. I'm waiting on the will of heaven today. Do 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 ba do ba do 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 do. I'm waiting on the will of heaven today. I gotta tune in to what the angels say. I listen for the good news coming my way. I'm waiting on the will of heaven today. I'm waiting on the will of heaven today. I'm waiting on the will of heaven today.
I am going to play another song. Thank you, Tina, by the way. I'll be right there. Okay, I'm just working on my Alright, let's have a look.
Okay. If you wish for a simple miracle, if you wish you can have one right away, all you need is some faith, is the will. Ask for it and it will come to you today. Hey, hey, I want you to be oh so happy. I want you to be your higher self. Yeah, I want you to live and die laughing. Taste your dreams today. Taste your dreams this way. Yeah. Na da 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 da, na da 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 da. La da 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 da, da 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 da. And if you wish to be in a state of grace, ask for it and it will meet you face to face. And if you wish, if you dare to dream, you will find that it's easier than it seems. Hey, hey, I want you to be oh so happy. I want you to be your higher self. Yeah, I want you to live and die laughing. Taste your dreams today. Taste your dreams this way. Yeah. Oh. Da 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 la da 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 la da 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 da. Oh, la da 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 da. Oh, yeah, I want you to be so happy. Yeah, I want you to be your higher self. Yeah, yeah, I want you to live and die laughing. Taste your dreams today. Taste your dreams this way. Taste your dreams this way. Taste your dreams today.
All right, let's put that over here. Get this sorted out over here. And let's see what we got. Hello, Path. Yeah, Tina, you got news. Oh, okay. Yeah, well, this is cool. Now, I'm just going to tuck this over here. Yeah, I know this looks weird. Actually, I'm going to make it look even more weird. I don't know if you can see the difference between orange and red. This is orange, orange, orange alerts. Red alerts, okay? Holy shit, Tina. Oh my God. Alright, so there is a strange looking astrodoodle. I have to admit it myself. Give me a second. I had to lock Bubba out of the room. I'm very stressed about that. I don't like doing that, but I had to. Wow, oh my gosh, I'm just looking at the chat. Whoa. Oh, wow. Let me just check in. I know, I'll come back to this. I just want to check in and say hi, make it real. Good evening. Hello, Path. Hello, Tina. I'm just, I don't know what to say. It's just kind of a big wow moment. Oh my God. This is exciting, okay? Oh, okay. Alright, so it looks like a lot of big shifts and changes just happened for Tina. Good evening, Tina. Thanks for the donation. We get you reading soon enough. Kind of. Wow. Oh boy. Lots and lots of surprises. So, I'm just going to make a confession. I'm feeling very, discombobulated up here at the moment. Of course, I can blame it on the astrology. In fact, I will do that right now, just for fun. It's my excuse for everything. Okay. See the little moon right here? 15 degrees Pisces, right smack in the middle. This is a huge trigger point for me personally. But it's also I would say, a real orange alert for the whole of planet Earth while we're at it. Okay? It's only a matter of days now. Okay, let me finish over here. This particular aspect, this particular transit makes me feel very fragile, very flimsy, very, let's say, lacking in any kind of confidence. And let's just say I'm riddled with things like self-doubt and all these classical negative, unhealthy aspects of the Neptune energy. There's always the positive stuff. Luckily, I feel like I do a pretty good job of transformational energy, switching something bad into something good and finding something good out of the bad. I just had a little bit of a bumpy start to the day. I will explain that just to get it out of the way. I've been observing someone close to me who's been having a run of good luck recently, and I'm sort of enjoying some of that by association. And one of those manifestations included the finding of I will just tell you, it's a vintage champion juicer. And I was thinking about one for a few weeks in advance. Then all of a sudden I'm in this little obscure thrift store and my eyes pop open. I couldn't believe it, but there is one on the shelf. And because of, let's say, sacred timing or whatever, it was already low priced, and then they give me 50% off of that, 60% off. So I decided, okay, I'm just going to do it. It's already beyond my budget, but I did it anyway because I've always wanted one. It's probably made in the 1970s, but I couldn't resist. Eventually I bought my vegetables and fruit, and I made my first round of juice. It was a very bumpy ride. Eventually I got the juice made. It was a very, very messy process. And then it was time to have a sample. I couldn't resist because it smelt absolutely intoxicating to me. My particular formula was like 4 small beets, fresh, 2 large apples, fresh, a whole big handful of parsley, fresh, about 4 cloves of garlic, fresh, and a chunk of ginger, which you could probably fit, comfortably in the palm of your hand. So it was a very concentrated, super concentrated juice. A lot of people like juices that are sort of light and fragrant. This is medicinal. And I used to have someone make it for me back in my Venice Beach, California days. They had an industrial juicer, so it worked very well. And I've never had one. I haven't had one of those like 6 or 8 years. But anyway, I had my first sip. And it was fantastic. Just what I was hoping. Almost even better. I couldn't resist. I thought, what is this? It's so powerful. It's so fragrant. And I know from previous experience that it's very healthy and healing for me. And so I thought, I gotta have more. So I chugged a little bit more. You can only take sips because it's hyper concentrated. And then I thought, no, what about if I dilute it? Maybe I'll put it in with some ginger ale. So I did some of that. And then I thought, that works. What about orange juice? So I mixed it in with some fresh orange juice. Oh, wow. And then I thought, I've done it. This is it. This is awesome. And I thought, okay, it's time to start cleaning up. It was just devastation all around the kitchen area, but I did it. Started it. And while I was starting to clean and scrub and dismantle everything, I started to feel very faint and wobbly and disoriented. Then I started to feel very cold and then kind of clammy and sweaty. And I thought, oh my God, I'm going to have a freaking heart attack. Oh my God. My chest felt okay. I thought, this is weird. It doesn't make any sense. And then I thought, oh my God, my guts are telling me something. So I had to run to the men's room, take care of business. And I thought, whew, that was unexpected. Lost a lot of weight. Came back, carried on with the cleanup, and then I started getting really disoriented. And then I had to go back to the restroom. And by this time I felt like I was going to faint or black out or something. And then I started projectile vomit. I'm just saying it. Live on YouTube. It was spectacular. Dazzling. It was the color of blood. It looked just like blood. Anyway, I completely lost control. I was screaming and barfing at the same time, and I was starting to convulse. I couldn't control myself, and I started screaming out, help, help, help me, help me, help me. And like I do, I keep the bathroom door unlocked for emergencies, because you never know. And I got rescued, thank God. There was a 911 call, chats with, emergency people. And within about 10, 15, 20 minutes, the storyline turned around and it was clear that I was going to recover. And so we canceled the ambulance and all the emergency procedures. And it was self-care from there. And so I took 2 Imodiums, a bunch of fresh water, and cleaned up. I was kind of a mess. And then kind of just sat around, mostly horizontal, and then eventually taking a nap, laying down for another hour. And after that, I felt like I was recovered enough to try and restart my day. But by this time it was early afternoon. I must have been out for quite a while. And so I didn't have anything inside my system. I was completely empty. I made a little sort of breakfast. I had buttered toast, 2 big slices of buttered toast, and some very heavy processed sort of meaty fat thing called Braunschweiger, which is very good for me personally. Not good for everybody, but very good for me. And then some lactose-free cheese. And I did that to recover, and some fresh water. And already I was starting to feel better. And then I went to my little coffee. I drove. I was too weak to bicycle or walk, so I took the car. And I slowly recovered, had my little coffee, and I kept thinking, wow, I'm going to be okay. But man, that whole thing shook me up. I'm still feeling very kind of fragile and weak, but otherwise fine physically. And then when it came time to do the show, I realized that there's other symptoms going on which has nothing to do with the juicer, but that juicer thing really threw me for a loop. So, Pastor, yes, you scared the heck out of LT, and I was on the phone. Oh, really? I didn't know that. I know LT was scared. I didn't mean to do that. I was scared out of my wits. I was terrified. I mean, I've had a lot of horrible experiences, like a lot of folks. I mean, once you've been around as long as I have, you eventually have plenty of near-death experiences, or certainly things that feel like near-death. And anyway, so we're good now, and then I just did an outstanding cleanup job. So this 1970s Champion Juicer Classic is now pretty much like brand new, and I just need one replacement tamper, and then we'll be good from there. Oh gosh. What I did notice is that little Bubba the cat has been wanting to stay very, very close to me all day. All day. He's outside right now meowing because he wants to be here with me. And he's cuddled up with me, and he stayed close. And I've been very affectionate with him today too, to sort of balance things out. But anyway, so that's my little story. And so I feel like I'm lucky to be here at all. I've been doing a little bit of self-analysis during the day while I was out on my own. And I just overheard a snippet of one of the favorite channels here, Pinball. And how he was saying, because he's an old school military guy and a prepper out in the southeast. I think he's in Tennessee. And he was saying that, prepping and survival and, being loving and being loved and being active and everything is fine. It's great. You got to do that for yourself, your loved ones, your family, your preps, your money, your privacy, yourself, your food, your shelter, all of that. Number one priorities. Love thyself. But don't overdo it. Sometimes you just have to sit on the porch and in a rocking chair and just dream and just soak it all in. The wonders, the joys, the beauty of it all. Baba, yes, he does. He wants to protect me. He's very concerned about me. Anyway, I felt like I have a profound duty to be here. But I also have to admit I feel profoundly useless and probably more pathetic than ever before. And I blame it on the planets. Very, very specifically, Moon in Pisces, 15 degrees. It's very, very hard for me. You'd never know unless I told you. Because I can, I can put on a front. Anyway, let me go to the Astrodoodle while we've got a little bit of time. It's probably going to be a very short show. I can imagine I'll do my reading with Tina, and probably that'll be it. Let me go over here briefly. Let's have a look. Here we are today. Hi, Tina. You're over there. We're going to do your reading soon. I just want to really hang out and chat, probably more than anything else. All right. I made the chart is a mess because to me there's a lot of orange alerts going on all over the place. It's like yesterday I was driving through town on a mission. I was the driver, and we encountered some very, very big orange barrel situations going through the middle of town, which sort of reminds me of this axis here, okay? And they were, as orange barrel construction things go, they were very well done, but it was very complicated, even though it's effectively just going in a straight line. And the whole idea is to make the city work better. Anyway, so that's what this whole thing looks like to me. This looks like the equivalent of huge amounts of orange barrels that are used in traffic around big cities when they're trying to do improvements to the transportation, okay? So the big one for me is this axis here. Okay, we're not there yet. Maybe no, I don't know if anyone's talking about it, but to me this is a very big deal. It's the Scorpio-Taurus axis on the full moon eclipse in about 15 or 16 days. I think it is on the 20th. Wait a minute, what's today? Today is the 16th. So we got the new moon is on Thursday. And 2 weeks later, it's going to be April 1, 2, 3, 4, like 5th, around the 5th of April. Okay, so we got a bit of time to prepare. But what I'm noticing, there are already huge red alerts going flashing in the global financial arena. Okay, it is worldwide. Some of you might remember the GFC, the Great Financial Crisis from 2008, 2009. This is on a whole other scale, much bigger. Okay? There's nothing anybody can do about it. It's an inevitability of, what's that expression? Was it Shakespeare? Oh, what a tangled web we weave when we set out to deceive. Without insulting Scorpios, if you can imagine, this 8th house here is the house of other people's money. That's the banks, the insurance companies, the tax people, the everything to do with finance that's outside of you and yet is directly associated with your financial well-being. Okay? For this sector of OPM, other people's money, for this sector to work, it's built around trust. Money is a belief system. Money is what you believe it to be. It's what we believe it to be. And often what we believe it to be comes about through a process of conditioning through other people who understand how to exploit the world of other people's money and to their advantage, to your disadvantage. And that's essentially, even though the banking system is fundamental to the world, a lot of us just can't operate without a banking system. That's the intrinsic problem. But that's also the beauty of the scam, because that's what the United States Federal Reserve figured out in 1913. If everybody believes you have to have an external bank, why don't we make ourselves the bank of the banks, the bank of the banks of the banks? And so the game began. So everybody continues to believe, here is a beautiful bank. So banks were typically housed in buildings that looked very safe and impressive, and somewhere that you could comfortably stack your money. And then when you need it, you take it out. Of course, it's all a big sham scam. But anyway, without going into too much detail, the world of real money here, I don't know if you can see this, this is the Taurus section here. This is the second house of money, of value, of values, of things of value, things like your stuff, your skills, your talents, your belief systems about yourself and your talents, how you get your money. Not how, that's like more like career and job stuff over here and here, but like money that you're born with. You know, you might come from a silver spoon. You might work hard and save, and you might be very gifted and you make a ton of money, and then you put it in the banks. And then you realize, oh my God, the banks I can't trust them. Some people don't use banks at all. They get a paycheck and then they go to Western Union and they cash it out. And they stay totally private and anonymous. You can still do that. Hello, Maria. You can still do that in America. But to operate on a global scale, if you want to rent a car, take an airline flight somewhere in America, what else? A bunch of other things. You have to have a bank account linked to a debit card or a credit card to make any transactions. There's a lot of things you still can do with cash. A lot of grocery stores, some gas stations, casinos. What else? You know, yard sales. All sorts of things. But the vast bulk of humanity has been now conditioned by the folks over here, the bank, the other people, the world of external money, to use these things called credit cards and debit cards and loans. Okay? And it all works to their advantage at your cost. The beauty is that it's extremely convenient and easy to use credit cards and debit cards and to get into debt. These folks over here can't exist without debt because their whole game, their whole scam is built on debt. There's no wealth here until the debt is issued to you as a fictional number of dollar type units, and then you return what you owe to them in terms of your sweat and your labor. And it's translated into the same thing called currency. Put it back to there, but your currency now has value added. Then they take that money and then they gamble with it. And they make ultra high risk games and they fail. And then the Fed comes in, bails them out, and then you lose. And so on and so on. You all know these stories very well, I'm sure. Anyway, this is a very big deal to me because this is sending off red alerts to me for the whole of planet Earth. Meanwhile, before we get there, we've got this weird little mini Aries new moon coming up. What's this? Today is Sunday, 16, 17, 18, 19, 3 or 4 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, almost 5 days. And at that point, the sun and the moon are going to be in 29.5 degrees, roughly, of Aries. So that's the critical degree. It's the anoretic degree. It's the degree of desperation. The last gasp of, let's say, sacred geometry, heavenly energies, trying to make the best of itself before it takes another year to get round to that point again. And the way I sense it and feel it, it's the energy of desperation to do with the energy of the sovereign self. That's you and your true sovereign self. A lot of people are not aware that they have a sovereign self, an individual nature that is theirs and theirs alone, to which they have a natural birthright. But billions, literally billions of people across planet Earth are not aware that their sovereign selfhood has been stolen, deprived, raped, abused, assaulted, perverted, in so many ways, but especially in this way here. Financial abuse, okay? Globalized financial abuse. If you watch some of the stuff that I watch, you'll understand what I'm talking about, okay? So we're coming up to here. So I think this is almost like too little too late, but at least humanity will have, I think, what'll be like a light bulb moment. Probably for just a few hours, there will be people who are awake and they will realize enough is enough is enough. I have the right to be me. My God-given birthright is to be me. For that to happen, it means I need freedom. I need freedom of speech, and I need the freedom to protect and defend myself from anyone and anything that attempts to deprive me of my sovereign self. All I have to do is look back at the Chiron wound of Aries for the whole of humanity to understand. The vast bulk of humanity is deeply scarred in terms of their sovereign selves. And we've got 8 billion people on Earth now who share the same theme. On the other hand, there's a small, very tiny number of elites represented over here that are realizing that they have been discovered in terms of their desire for absolute totalitarian, tyrannical world domination, let's call it. I had my other video from a couple days ago was shut down within 50 seconds because I started ranting about that material. So I'll stop now, okay? Necessary truth. Oh, okay. Thank you, necessary. Let me put that there while I remember, while I can still see it. Alrighty, let's put that over here. And so when we reach this point here, I think people will have 2 weeks to sort of start to self-examination, look at their lives, their world, their mirror, their community, their belief system, their value, their values, their money, their finances, and they're going to see what's working and what's not working. They're going to see, it's going to be very obvious to the whole of planet Earth how everybody on Earth, except for the elites and the bankers, that they got screwed. Okay? I was having discussions and conversations about how these globalized scams operate and how the scams operate inside different countries. Essentially, it's the same scam with repackaging. Okay? Anyway, so we've got a few days to prepare for this new moon here. Personally, I typically struggle at the end of a lunar cycle. I get all fragile and shaky, and my levels of confidence drop to, almost empty. And then I have to recalibrate and start all over again for another lunar cycle. Once that starts, people can look around and question themselves, their life in the world, like, okay, you've got to reveal it to heal it, but so what do we do? What happens when billions of people across Earth realize, wow, we're systematically getting scammed? It's been going on since 1913, and it was globalized around 1944. Oh my God! How are we going to recover? What can we do? What rights do we have as our sovereign selves? Well, some people are even proposing a completely new financial paradigm for the whole world. That would include what's called distributed ledger technology, blockchains, and like universally acceptable tokens of value that are completely uncorrelated with the traditional scam operator banking system. In other words, real money versus fake money. Real money is the enemy of fake money. War. I see war. Financial warfare and it's translating into global warfare. China has made it very clear, for example, that they are ready to go to war. Just give us an excuse. Just give us an excuse right now. We already know what we're doing, how we're going to do it, why. We just need a when. The when will be triggered by a bunch of crazy Westerners, so-called, who support Taiwan. Little Taiwan, with the little lady who's doing this to she. Well, we're looking, I don't know. So, once someone else pulls the first shot, then China has its excuse to go in and do its dirty work. So, there's that going on. But right now, the energy over here with the moon in Pisces and Saturn and Neptune, that's very, very heavy energy of reality checks. And I've been talking to Love Triber about this for a long time now. And what it's about is, since it's so hard for most people to activate and tune in and tap into the healthy aspects of Neptune Pisces type energy, what frequently happens is that humans devolve to the unhealthy aspects of the Neptune Pisces energy, and we are seeing that all over the planet. Obvious examples are insanity when it comes to murder and assault, violence, all over the world. America has its version, Western Europe, Eastern Europe, China, Southeast Asia, Asia, India, South and Central America. They all have their versions of people coming unglued for whatever reason. Morals, politics, poverty, finance, anger, rage, whatever it is. There's a lot of violence, extreme violence going on, and very little accountability. There's also the same thing happening over here where, like, the very, very, very worst aspects of human behavior, and I'm not talking about ugly physical stuff, I'm talking about the most highly advanced versions of, let's say, scams, evil, all those horrible words that I've used many times before with this energy here. Lies, betrayal, deception, abuse, theft, sickness, disease, murder, metastatic cancer, EVIL, okay? It's very, very effectively propagated and spread around by people mostly in suits and ties who believe that they need to basically impose their agenda across the whole of planet Earth. So guess what's happening very, very soon, folks? Let me just show you. Mercury, the planet of global commerce, communication, and exchange, is going retrograde. Okay? In Aries. And then, look, it looks perfectly sweet and innocent here. Here's Pluto, of course, 0 degrees Aquarius. Now watch what happens when I flip the page. Kaboom. May, we have at least a couple of weeks with Mercury retrograde and the beginning of a very long Pluto in retrograde. So watch this. May, June, July, August, September, October. Okay, so by the middle or end of October. So what are we now? May, June, July, August, September, October. When we add in the extra big, what do you call it? The shadow periods. 6 months. We've got 6 months of Pluto retrograde hovering around the critical degrees. It's going to go all the way down towards the 27 degree mark and then back again. So it's going to go back this way, and I'll do it this way. It's going to go from here to here to here. Okay? And then once it starts to go direct, let me flip to the end of the year. I know I'm looking way ahead, but these things concern me. Okay? We're still going to be in Capricorn, okay? So we don't actually get to Pluto and Aquarius till a fair bit later into 2024. So start planning now, because the rest of 2023, however bad you think it's been already, my personal belief is things are going to get a lot worse. Whatever it might be in your life, your world. A lot of it, I believe, is going to do with the global financial structure and the idea that there is a small number, tiny number of people who are very closely affiliated with the global financial structure under multiple different capacities, you know, political, financial associations, groups, that all they want is power and money and control. I can't say their names because the video will be shut down. So I hope some of you understand what I'm talking about. But anyway, once you know this and you see these orange alerts and you can see, oh, it's like we're going on the big highways and interstates and major surface roads, and there's a lot of orange barrels everywhere and very dangerous potholes and a lot of malicious people out there who have evil intent towards you, the person, we, the people. At least forewarned is forearmed, okay? So I'm hoping this gives you a heads up. All you have to do is be forewarned and you have a chance of surviving, okay? Yeah, did I cover everything that I wanted to cover? Yeah. So we'll be talking about this again, okay? Later in the year, of course, about 6 months, whatever it is, we got some more eclipses. I think we're almost at the last ones of the Scorpio-Taurus range because the North Node is going to move into Aries. Anyway. So, looks like Path and Tina have been going excitedly about the housing stuff. That's very exciting, Tina. I feel a little bit better now that I've actually started the show tonight. I was almost not going to do it. I was feeling very, I would say, weak, depressed, hopeless. But let's do it. I'm going to just clear a little bit of space over here. Okay. Yeah, Path, you're right on it. Yeah, the nodal axis will be changing fairly soon, in a few months. So that's going to show up in the eclipses later in the year and into 2024. I just want to mention something that it's nothing to do with tarot, but I feel it's really, really important. It's that there are very, very strong astrological indications of war. And the question is, how do you interpret war? Because, for example, during World War II, there were certain people who really thrived. And there were a lot of people who never actually had to go to war, but everybody was affected. And it changed the American economy, the American status in the world. Of course, people on the front line had a very rough time. But today, the war that I see is it's financial warfare. It's a currency war, and one of the problems that didn't exist before, going back a long way, is that we now have a completely globally interconnected financial system. Everybody anywhere can send money, anybody anywhere, through a smartphone. Some of the most, let's say, they're described as poor or the least developed people. You know, they might have physical disadvantages, but they're people. They still have happiness and sadness, joy and sorrow. Some of them are very heavily abused. There's at least 2 billion people on Earth who have a very miserable time, but some of them still have smartphones and they can still do transactions through phones. And there's going to be a massive shift because people want real money in their lives. And the people who make their living out of fraud, the criminals, those are the criminals, especially at the very, very top of the structure of the pyramid of power, the very, very tippity top. You could call it the banking cartels, whatever you want to call it. I'm not going to use names. They make their living out of what amounts to an extremely elaborate, very, very successful fraud. And we're all sucked into it. We don't really have a choice. But people are creating a parallel alternate world because enough human beings, there's enough points of critical mass where there will eventually be a parallel world where fake money will be over here and real money will be over here. And there's no way there will be like a middle ground, but ultimately the perpetrators of fraud are terrified of the real money. Some are hedging their bets, they're playing both sides, but I don't want to get too deep into it. There's a huge country that's spelled CHINA, and they are in financial state of desperation, and it's only just begun for them. The Saturn in Pisces era is going to be very, very hard for them. And sometimes when countries are starting to fall apart and they get desperate, they channel everything to the military. You just have to look at World War II. It's an act of desperation. And that's what's happening to the whole of humanity right now. Some people will feel it face on. Anyway, the more you can prepare yourself and get as close as possible to what I would call real money, real life, the things that are really valuable, like your friends, your family, the food in your refrigerator, the shelter over your head, fresh water, availability of clean, healthy food, fuel, transportation, those things, and get rid of the things that are, let's say, burdensome. Some people might benefit by seriously downsizing in life and offloading things like debt. Anyway, that's another conversation. Sometimes these things really affect me personally, but I have to remind myself that in my own little way, I'm an extremely fortunate person. Sometimes I get lost and I forget. And you have to do all these attitude adjustments and attitude of gratitude adjustments to get back and tap into the energy of joy and love, being loving, being loved, and so on. Anyway, we will all have that opportunity. Let's go and do your reading, Tina. Alright, let's have a looky here, folks. Shimmering Golden Universal Tarot. Alright, Tina, you're up. I haven't been able to read all the notes, but I sense that congratulations are in order for you, Tina. It sounds like you've had some big turnarounds. It sounds like you're building your own place on 5 acres. That blows my mind. You've been through some serious ups and downs. I know that, Tina. You've shared a lot with us here on the show. You know, it's been sometimes, honestly, quite frightening and sad and scary. All right, let's see what's going on right now. We're going through the eclipses. We're getting into them. Excuse me. My throat is still a bit sensitive and sore from all the projectile liquids coming out of my tummy earlier today. So I have to be careful. Path Traveler's got a note up there that's very interesting to me. Warren Buffett sold all his stock in the chips that are made in Taiwan. What's that? TSMC? Semiconductor. Taiwan something, semiconductor. Taiwan Semiconductor Corporation, TSMC. Alright, Tina. I hope you are physically well. You feel good in your heart, your body, your mind, your heart, and your soul. And the dogs are okay. If it's okay, Tina, I will just do a simple blind reading for you. Thank you for your kind donation. I'm just going to use my good old situational spread, plug in the old diagnostics, see what comes up. Okay? Here's the situation. Here's some challenges. Let's have a look, see how we're going to handle things. Let's look at external influences. Often, of course, you know I relate to the planets. Oh, wow. Beautiful. It's like an ace. Okay, so I know this card is very encouraging, very, let's say, strong, courageous, striking out new starts, new beginnings. This is, to me, looks very much to do with the Aries new moon. To me, it looks like, I guess there is a parallel. To me, this is like an endorsement, a validation of what appears to be very good news, okay? Okay? And taking action, making very bold, courageous moves. Just simply knowing. You know one of the themes about Aries is that they just know. It's one of the, if you think of Mars, the planet Mars, Mars doesn't ask for permission to do this or do that or be this or be that. Mars lives in the moment, like of birth energy all the time. Like, wow, I'm right here, right now. And healthy expression of Mars is powerful actions, bold, courageous decisions, protecting and defending anything and everything that comes under their purview. Leadership. Being willing to be in the front lines where other people would rather just hold back a little bit. But someone's got to do it. Making really tough decisions, facing the unknown. To me, this looks like very powerful energy. It's just a reminder that it's out there and available to you, Tina. Sounds like you're already tapping into it. So in other words, we kind of almost don't have to. It's like you're staking your ground, like a whole new life. All right. Give me a second, Tina. I've got some questions. I need to ask myself. I'm just... Where am I? Where am I here? Give me a second. Knights, kings. Okay. All right, so Page of Wands. It's the Knight. The Page of Wands is a young fellow. The King of Wands has a massive throne. You know what? Let's just for clarity. Let me see if I can find, just for fun. Okay, bear with me, Tina. This is just for fun. Sometimes, I mean, it's very rare that I would... Let me just see if I can buzz through here and find certain specific imagery that will help people understand. I'm just buzzing through. Just ignore me. Just chat amongst yourselves for a second. I wanna... It's just for the sake of clarity. See, the King of Wands has a throne. Where are they? Where is everybody? There's the Two of Wands. There's the Three. There's the Emperor. Hold on, Bubba. That's the Knight of Swords. Okay. Cups. Sorry, I'm still shuffling through here. I'm totally lost. Well, that doesn't make any sense. What the hell am I doing wrong? I've done something wrong. I don't know. Anyway, let's get on with your reading. Yeah, this is the page. All right, here's the situation. Let's have a look. Wow. Ace of Wands. Card of sacred opportunity. It's right there, right out there in front of you. This is very much to do with seize the moment, grab the energy, no shame, no apologies. It's there. The gift is there for you. It's like, I guess to me, it's like connecting to the grid, like massive power grid of energy, where you can handle this. And the timing is right, and it's good for you, and you deserve it. And it's if you look carefully, you probably can't see it. I don't know if it'll show, but deep in the background there, way in the background, is a little castle. I don't know if you can see it, but this is the time to create your castle. sounds like you're, I mean, it's, Tina, it makes me feel as like you're really, really in tune. Okay? Serious. Look at that. What's the challenges here? Okay, so the Queen of Pentacles, I wouldn't worry about this too much, Tina, but it's just an indication that there might be, because this is, to me, this is really big news. Okay? Just when you announced it here. Hello, Heather, I see you. When you announced it here, my head started spinning. I kept thinking, what the hell just happened? Tina's going to build her own place, stick it on 5 acres? What? Wow. I wish. And of course, you've had some very, very bumpy times recently, especially with natural resources, personal resources, serious ups and downs. And you have every reason to feel shaken or perhaps a little bit fragile as a result of things, and you might be still feeling some residual fragility from having been knocked around and screwed around so much by other people. You didn't deserve it. But the Queen of Pentacles is hard-earned. She knows very, very well deep down the value of money, the value of values, and it's not something, she was not born with a silver spoon. This is something that was heavily earned and highly deserved. So the question is always like, what do I do with that? You've probably heard all the stories about lottery winners. Saw one just a couple of days ago. He won 27 million, and 5.5 years later, he's homeless. So this just looks like a sort of a shadowy, like, moment of timidity. I would associate this with the Saturn, Moon, Neptune, Pisces vibes right now. It's perfectly understandable. Like myself, I have been feeling extremely fragile and lacking in all confidence today. Even though I know I have certain skills and values that other people do appreciate, and I still share as much as I can, and I am rewarded accordingly. But sometimes I too have moments of doubt. But so Tina, it's perfectly acceptable. It's okay. It's not the end of the world, though. You are on a serious roll here. Let's have a look. Going forward. Wow. Look at that. To me, this looks like it's very much about creating your own reality, a brand new reality based on, I would say, very, very tough lessons. This is the 9 of Pentacles. I think of this as a woman of substance. It's like the successful businesswoman card, who you get to the point where you actually don't need anybody else anymore. You can operate outside the system, for example. Once you have, let's say, built your castle, created your own world, you're literally the queen of that world. And then the question is like, how am I going to conduct my life and my world going forward as the custodian of my own wealth? Not everybody has the chance or the opportunity or the situation or circumstances for that to happen, no matter how hard they work in life. They end up giving it all away. A lot of people start work young, they train their career, they earn money, take on debt, college loans, car payments, credit cards, mortgages. And a lot of that is to do with conditioning. And you get to the point in life where you realize, wow, if you didn't do it right, then you can end up far worse off in life than whatever you thought you might be, even though you thought or were conditioned to believe that you were doing the so-called right thing. And then it turns against you, okay? But in this case, this looks like hard-learned lessons just through personal experience, personal losses. You know what it's like to experience loss, failure, betrayal, deceptions, lies, and zero gratitude from others. But it's not going to take you down, okay? You're not going down at all. You're still got serious fight inside of you. In fact, it looks stronger than ever. And so this is the way forward is to understand that you've got this, Tina, and you deserve this, and continue on the path of self-determination. Very, very strong Aries energy here, where you can continue to build on what you've already built. All of us here are obviously very excited for you. It's going to be interesting to see how the stories evolve. Building something yourself on your own chunk of land. My God, that is a dream come true. A dream come true for me. I would love that. Hello, Elizabeth. I'm sorry I haven't got back to you today. I've been very, very short on time. Tina's starting a new job. I just saw that as well. So Tina, to me this reading is very encouraging. It matches, correlates very well. I don't see any huge warning signs and alerts here. You're already fully aware of that. And so it's like you're somebody, you're like a person who's studied all of this and learned from this very carefully. And you are now navigating through all of this to get to the point where you're one of the people who are you're saving yourself, recreating your sovereignty of self, and aligning with true values based on true wealth. Might have learned the hard way, but you've got to the top of that. And this is like the woman of substance energy vibes. Oh my gosh, when I see that little bird there, I kept thinking like, oh my gosh. I saw a snippet, I think Love Triber showed me a snippet of a video where this one family or prepper or group or somebody somewhere, they built this huge, what do they call it? A place where you house chickens. And it wasn't just for eggs, it was done for the joy of giving chickens a good life too. I could build one of those if I had to. But it's actually a lot of work to keep chickens and ducks. People just don't understand that. But anyway, with that much land, and I believe you've come from the Pluto and Virgo generation, I could see you. I mean, you've already got 3 huge furry animals. But oh my gosh, I would love to have what do they call it? A place where you keep birds? Anyway, that's a hunting hawk with a little mask on the head. Okay, I'm not saying that you have to go out and do that and be that. Chicken coops, yeah. But to me, when I see this for you, the 9 of Pentacles here, Tina, it's just stay on path. Keep doing what you're doing. Trust yourself. Believe yourself. Seize the moment. Seize the opportunity. Understand through affirmation that your looks like your compass is headed in the right direction, and you know what you're doing, and you're fully aware of all the dangers and the obstacles. And that's what gives you the advantage. So you're not going into this stuff blind, because there's a lot of people who are going to get hurt from this, okay? Aviary, that's it, exactly. Tina, thank you so much. Wow. And thanks for all the support and feedback and reflections regarding the Page of Wands there. Very exciting. Oh my God! Pics of the land and house plans. Wow! Oh my God! Oh my God. Wow. I don't know why I'm so excited, but I really am. Okay, thanks. I'll have to check all that stuff tomorrow or after the show. Necessary, you're up. Thanks, Tina. Open messages from John. Absolutely. No problem. That's it for tonight. No more readings. I have to be very careful and very, very, let's say, conscientious with my health at the moment. So this will be the last, right? No more readings tonight. That was Pat's idea from a few weeks ago when I couldn't handle it then either. Oh, God. Okay. Okay. Oh, yeah. All right, so what kind of messages do we have for necessary tonight? John? John? Oops, let's shove those back over here. A couple of cards flew out. I'm going to change decks. Alrighty. It's been, I have to tell you again, it's been a very strange day for me personally. I'm trying to, I'll be right here, okay, necessary, just don't worry, okay? With the alignments right now, I have to pay very close attention for myself personally. It's really a question of survival and living by example so that I can get through, just in the same way that I try to help other people get through all these things. You know, over the years I've done all sorts of readings, and you know, things have changed a lot in my life. Instead of doing 45 videos a month, it's just we're lucky to get 5 or 7, you know, and that's just how it is. I used to do a lot of personal private readings all over the world. I loved it. It gave me an opportunity to do some big travel and some vacations, make new friends, visit family and things like that. And I'm just now living in a new chapter. It's a very, very different chapter. Different paradigms for everything. Different perceptions, attitudes, beliefs. I call it a new lifestyle package deal. And I really only just landed, and I'm starting to recalibrate and reorient. For me personally, it's been very bumpy and sometimes very depressing, disheartening. But I'm learning how to do these personal recalibrations so that I can find the joy. Keep going. You know? Some people are experts. Like, you know, imagine those people over in the prison camps in China. All the Uyghurs and the Falun Gongs. Oh God, I just said stuff. Please don't shut down this video. Sorry. Okay, I'm going to shut up now. I can't really talk about that stuff here. But these global issues are very, very, very important to me. Body, mind, heart, and soul. Everything is, let's say, aligned, tuned in, and calibrated to operate as though I have my own personal Starlink satellite system. And I'm personal friends with Elon Musk. And I have the ability to, I don't know, transcribe energy from up there into some form that's vaguely intelligible down here on planet Earth. I do what I can. It's just a little another snippet. Love Triber mentioned something today about the massive real estate issues over in China, because there's a lot of, I'm just going to call it what it is, fraud going on over there, and hundreds and hundreds, like 400, 500, about 800 million people got sucked into the fraud. Okay? But that's how things work over there. And when was it, like 20? I was about 20, it's 25, 26, probably 26 years ago, something like that. I had one of my out-of-body experiences. You could call it remote viewing, you could call it astral travel, whatever you want. But I'll never forget the experience. It's when I was in China, and I had my own personal invisible elevator, and I was outside some of these massive skyscrapers in the early stages of construction and development of the massive megacities that are now all over China. And as I would go up and down the building, I could get very, very close, and I could see all the incredibly fake, shoddy construction work that went into a lot of these buildings that are collapsing, imploding, having no value, ghost cities that were designed and built for millions of people where there's no value because of the fraud, and so on. And I was trying to describe, I could see it in great detail, how you could see the drywall, and that it's the cheapest, thinnest, old, soggy, leftover drywall. Behind it, extremely shoddy plumbing and electrics, flooring, everything that goes into construction. They use a lot of concrete and rebar when they're doing skyscrapers. And a lot of the contractors and developers cheated because they make more money when they cheat. It still looks like a building when it's finished, but it's what they call a tofu building because they just crumble and they fall apart within 5, 7, 10 years. And then the people who buy them and own them, they don't have any recourse. And those kind of, I would call it, let's call it visions or experiences. It's very, very similar to mediumship, which is what Necessary Truth does now and again with her events. She sometimes sees a lot of people in one day, but it's the same thing where you activate the spirit that each one of us owns, and it allows you to tune into the frequencies above and beyond three-dimensional life, and you can have a direct personal interaction with what appears to be nonsense or the invisible. But that's what remote viewers do. That's what mediumship is all about. Psychic phenomena like clairaudience, clairsentience, clairvoyance. And like it or not, I was blessed with a lot of it. The question is, what do you do with that? And that's where I've always struggled. Anyway, thank you. I just wanted to do that little preface here tonight because the stuff that I sensed 25, 27 years ago is now coming to full fruition, where the whole of the Chinese housing market is showing its true colors. and how bad it is for a lot of people. But not for Tina. Anyway, let's go over here. I was trying to bring in the subject of mediumship and clairvoyance and remote viewing and all that kind of stuff, because that's a very prominent theme in the life of Necessary Truth. Okay? Let's go over here. So, John, what kind of messages do we have for Necessary tonight? Sorry. Very slippery tonight. Sorry. Here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle things, okay? Moving on. Let's have a look. External influences, whatever they might be. The Star card. Well, it's beautiful. Someone's got to do it. That energy is out there. I would say it's out there. And it's like available to you. You could say it's to do with hope. It's to do with believing when there's no evidence. Let me see if I can be more precise. For example, dear Necessary, if there is a certain, because you happen to have these faculties which allow you to operate as a full-blown medium, anyone that I've ever encountered who operates at those frequencies does have situations or problems now and again where their three-dimensional life is so obviously completely different from the world of mediumship, clairvoyance, and clairsentience. The disparity is so extreme that sometimes psychic mediums can get very disoriented and frightened about the three-dimensional world when they understand that the three-dimensional world is so unstable, or it's prone to energy fields and what you could call, what should I call it? Reactive behavior of other human beings and planet Earth and nature, as opposed to responsive behavior. Reacting is where you're just operating out of fear and like, oh, what am I going to do now? Oh, that just happened. Oh, so what am I going to do now? Fight or flight. Response is when you are fully cognizant of what's going on out there and you give yourself the time, space, freedom, privacy, energy to formulate a response. Okay? A response is very different from a reaction, and you own that. And all I'm suggesting here is that when things get a bit shaky in your life, in your world, and you feel there might be like just even a fraction of a moment where you lose hope, you lose belief in the beauty and the wonder of life. And sometimes, like, I don't know, I have these things now and again because I can operate at these frequencies where you get a spasm, a moment where there's a shock where like, oh my God, I keep forgetting that three-dimensional life is so sticky and so constricted. Take it up to the energy of Saturn. Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. That's where the three-dimensional aspects of life pretty much grind to a halt. And anything that's not working, people always attribute it to Saturn. The Saturn, the source of pain and suffering and karmic kickback, okay? Okay, so there is hope. And it's very important that you turn into the energy of hope. You lean into the energy of hope, the energy of believing when there's potentially nothing to justify belief or hope. All right, so what's this one? He said, he sees what I wrote. He's on your right, Teal. Okay, I see that. Because the first card makes sense. Okay, thank you, Necessary. The question you wrote down is about your relationship with your mom and your sister. Okay, so let's correlate this a little more tightly with your mom and your sister. If there are situations and conditions with your mom and your sister, hold on, Boo Boo has got to go. Boo Boo, I'll let you out here. Come on. Okay. Sorry about the interruption. A little fur ball needed my help. So, if there's something going on in the lives of your mom and your sister, which creates the energy of, let's say, extreme doubt about, I would say, the integrity or the value or the purpose or the meaning of the relationships with your mom and your sister, if there's some kind of ambivalence or ambiguity going on, which is extremely hard to, mitigate. In other words, there might be contrasting belief systems, or there might be unsolvable health issues or unsolvable financial issues. Sometimes, I'm trying to think of an example. I love my brother very much, but I know he has a certain core nature that is very conservative, very, very business-oriented, facts, 3D reality. But he has a world in which he lives that is very much, I would say, way out of alignment with the brother that I know at my core. And so I never, ever trespass into territories where I know that my belief systems are in such contrast to that from my brother that it would actually create a problem or sever a relationship. It would be very hard to say, to live and let live, and like, oh, it's okay, let's allow for differences. It would be very hard. So necessary in your situation with your mom and your sister, if you're kind of, if the energy of ambiguity and ambivalence has come up to the point where you're at a sticking point, like, what the hell am I supposed to do? How do you explain yourself to your mom and your sister? How do your mom and your sister, let's say, correlate to you in your life in such a way that would translate into resolution, harmony, comfort, joy, celebration? And if that's not possible, and you're noticing that there are, let's say, insurmountable walls or barriers, what do you do about that? And you're challenged, like, oh my God, because sometimes, for example, I would love to confront my brother, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just not going to do it because I don't want to get into a conflict. Okay? So, sorry, I'm still going on about the Star card. And so, for you, necessary, you might be in a situation where you might have to carry the burden of discomfort that comes from relationship dynamics between yourself and your sister, yourself and your mom, that you would deep down wish could be resolved and harmonized. And yet, some things, in some circumstances, some aspects, it's not possible. So what do? You love anyway. Anyway, let's have a look at the situation itself. Okay, with the Knight of Swords here, it looks like there's a really powerful urge going on regarding truth-telling, whistleblowing, but getting it out there in a way that, you know, there might be some very difficult conversations that are either happening or have happened or need to happen in order to restore hope, harmony, and get things either on track or back on track. For example, if you are used to having a comfortable, harmonious, perhaps even joyful relationship with your mom and your sister, and then for some reason things are way out of whack, way out of alignment, and there doesn't seem to be any kind of resolution, and yet with the desire to enjoy the good things that can and should and or maybe have worked between your mom and your sister and yourself, it would require having to speak out in certain ways that might be very uncomfortable. Like putting the truth on the table in such a way like, we have to put this on the table. Okay, because you can't move beyond. You might be in a stalemate situation where everything is intractable. And your name here, Necessary Truth, is speaking very, very loud here. It's very, very necessary to get to truth, get into the frequency of truth. And sometimes truth can be very liberating. And sometimes it can be very painful. Let's have a look. What's the problem here? Okay, it looks like there might be a deep fear whether you have actually the power or the desire or the ability or the wish or compassion to perhaps act as a mediator or take the very hard decisions about speaking out or not. It makes me feel as though you're kind of trapped, okay? With the magician energy, it's very, very powerful, but it's very easy to get in trouble. So it might make me feel as though you're kind of trapped. Like if you make it your business to, let's say, stand your ground, lean into the truth. Let's get this all on the table, Mom. Let's get this all on the table, dear sister. We need to, otherwise we're in a very precipitous situation. What are we going to do? And then you feel like someone's got to do it. I have to stay in the energy of hope and belief that goodness can come. And it requires having to speak out in ways that could be very liberating, but also potentially very painful. In other words, it could easily backfire. And so, because like with great power comes great responsibility, you might be feeling like oh my God, like, well, I could do this. I could, take action here. But the question is it self-serving? Am I just doing this to make myself feel better? Am I going to end up hurting things with my brother and sister? Or vice versa, is my mom insisting on that this is the truth when you know damn well that something else is the truth? What are you going to do? You have to calculate a response. You can't afford to react. It looks like the situation is too volatile. And so it makes me feel like you're stuck. Like if you come at it from an emotional aspect, I just want to help. I love you so much. I just want to help. If you want to come at it from a position of power and authority, is that going to be resented? If you want to come at it from an intellectual perspective, like I know better, it's time that you understand. Or coming at it from I would say a very, almost like a blunt material aspect. Like, well, you did this, you did this, you did that. You did that, and that. And that opens up a door for conflict, like, well, if you hadn't done that, then I wouldn't have done that. If I hadn't done that, you wouldn't have done that, and so on and so on. So you end up thinking like, wow, do I want to even do anything at all? Because to me it almost feels like I'm damned if I do something about this, but I'm damned if I don't. So it's like stuck with all this magic power, but perhaps no way to actually, do anything with it. So I'm going to go back to the analogy with my brother. I live with the ambivalence. I'm very conflicted about the feelings that I have. Like if my brother knew, for example, how deeply I am on a certain political spectrum in one way, he would probably disown me. I don't want that. So I stay away from certain very, very awkward subjects. And that makes me feel very sad and disempowered, because I would love to share my power and my beliefs and have my brother on my side. But he's way over here, and I am way over here. It's an impossible, it's too much. The chasm is too big. So I just live with the energy of ambivalence. Look up the word ambivalence and you'll understand. All right, so, hi Diana. So how do we proceed in this situation? Okay, we're going to exercise the cups option, the loving option. And to me, this is operating at the really super high frequencies of love. Be loving, be loved, where it's about, like I would say, the energy of forgiveness or compassion, or where, let's say, you make a decision necessary that certain things need to be brought into light, certain truth, certain realities, certain consciousness needs to be brought into activation between yourself and your sister, yourself and your mom. It's either just shut up and let any dysfunction continue and just live in hope and just live with the ambivalence like I do, or do something about it. Now, if you do something about it, you've got options. It's looking to me here like the most favorable option is the option of compassion and love, where this is where it gets really awkward. It's like you love anyway. It's almost like I'm trying to imagine an imaginary meeting or imaginary conversation. It's just like, if let's just say there's some conflict, okay, between you and your mom, or there's a disparity, and maybe her life is falling apart, and you want to help her, but you can't because of certain belief systems or something. Same thing with your sister. There might be some serious disparities that could be so easily reconciled and brought into harmony, but there is a certain insurmountable barrier or wall to do with belief systems or understandings that make it almost impossible to create the ideal situation, the idealism of Neptune, Pisces, Saturn manifestation of love. And so what do? There's no point. You can't pound it into them. There's no point in trying to win. I guess that's the point I'm trying to get at here. There's no point in trying to win a situation or win over. So you love anyway. It's almost like I have to do a little bit of acting here. It's just like, Mom, this is never going to be figured out. I can't do much more. I know you're hurting, or this hurts, or that hurts. Or maybe there's some joy that needs to be shared, but I can't accept it because of this, and whatever it is. But I love you anyway. I love you. And I know that you love me. It might be difficult circumstances, but I love you. I love you. I love you. And you have a big hug or something. And it's the same thing with the sister. Whatever the subject matter is where there's some kind of disparity, just like you give up the fight. There's no point. You just say, you know what? Let's agree to differ. I love you anyway. You're completely out there. Whatever it is, Mom, you're completely out there. You think I'm completely out there. Disparities, but love trumps all of that. Okay? So let's just make that happen. Can you accept that I love you anyway? Can you love me anyway? Anyway, that's what I'm sensing from the little Two of Cups. I hope that helps you. John is being very nice right now. For some reason, John is giving me a hug. Okay. That's your reading, Necessary. There we go. I hope that helped you, Necessary. I hope I didn't confuse you. I hope I wasn't too far off track. Let's have a look. Okay, that's the last reading for the evening. Thank you, Necessary. I'll put that here. Aw, thank you, Necessary. I'm just clearing the deck. Okay, just give me a second. Now I'm just going to hang out with folks for a few minutes. I hope you don't mind. I'm going to put this over here. Tuck that away. Put this over here. I'm going to put the Astrodoodle up for today, just as a reminder. Let's put this over here. Thank you, Tina. Thank you, Necessary. Let's just put this over here in case we need it for a reference. Okay, I'm going to do Because I Care. It's funny, I was just thinking of that song the other day. Like, I haven't played that in a long time. And I know that Necessary likes it. Let's have a look here. Where is it? I know I've got it here somewhere. What's the title? I can't even remember. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Let's see if this works. This is the one that's 2 songs in one.
Let's dissolve our pain and get out of danger. Heal all the wounds and cure all the anger. I'll be the doctor, you be the patient. Here is your medicine, I'll help you take it. No, it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. It wipes out the fear and makes you live longer. It's not a lotion, it's no magic potion. It's just a dose of love in the moment. I'll watch you while you're lying there, while your eyes are closed and your heart is bare. Perfectly still, but still aware. And I'm right here because I care, because I care. me. I'll talk in a whisper. I know you can hear me when you awaken, when we are conscious, totally healed and cured. Just watch this. No more weeping, no more sadness. Gone is the fighting, gone is the madness. We can choose to become alive, or just disappear, or become survivors. I'll watch you while you're lying there, while your eyes are closed and your heart is bare. Perfectly still, but still aware. And I'm right here because I care, because I care. We're not gonna let you go down in flames. No, no, no. We're gonna have fun. We're gonna do this right.
Oh, there you go. Who needs America's Got Talent when you got shows like this, man? Alright, I think the idea right now is to leave while we're on top. I'm out of breath. I hope you had a wonderful evening. I hope the songs helped. I hope my little rants here and there helped. Be loving, be loved. Sounds easy. Anyway, another thing is love is as love does. It's like it's an action. It's capturing the energy, owning it, and then putting it out there. That's the transceiver. You are a transceiver. Don't forget that. You can absorb the healing power of love into your body, your mind, your heart, and your soul. Then you own it. And then you can project, share. And guess what? It's an infinite supply. It's right there. Good night, everybody.